Hi, Mr. C here. As we were talking previously, we were sanding all the parts to our flat panel door for our cabinet, which is our 36 by 16 by 12 upper cabinet. It's going to go above the refrigerator. Well, I've gone ahead and I've sanded all of these to 180 grit, and you can see I've done the edges, and then I've done the faces, and then the panel's done with 220 grit only. I have in front of me my PVA or yellow glue, carpenter's glue. I have a wet towel. And then I have something a little bit different here is I have these blocks that'll help me keep my door square. Now, depending on how you position these, you see how these grooves go real deep on this side, real short on that side. That's because these types of key body clamps fit right inside of this setup. So the first thing I want to do is I want to put my parts together dry. And what that means is that I'm putting the parts together with no glue. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my panel here. I'll just leave these over there for a second. I have my one rail, one style, and my panel. And the reason why I'm doing this is so I can set up my clamps before I do anything, okay? Now, it's really important that you don't skip this process, because I find that sometimes people get in trouble, and what I mean by trouble is they're like, uh-oh, I have glue everywhere, and now I'm missing something, and they panic. And it's not good to do that. It's better to be prepared for what you're doing first. So what I have to do with these clamps, which is pretty nice, is I set these in the deeper groove on this side. Okay. And I'll do the same thing with this clamp right here. Now, with this clamp, I can go ahead and place this in this groove. So, now I can go ahead and kind of get my clamps positioned so that way I can be successful when I go ahead and glue this up. So I can get this kind of prepared or close to what I need as far as the dimensions of the clamps. And remember, just one guy can do this. Okay, I'll back this off, back that one off, slide that one up, slide that one up. Okay, now I have these all set. Now I can go ahead and move these here. I can pull my door out, loosen it up. There. Now I can pull my door out as far as all the pieces. Now I'm going to pull this apart, kind of like exploded view. So I have my rail here, a rail here, and a style and a style. Now, what's really important is all the strength in the woodworking joint. Is you can see this tenon right here. This is going to get locked right inside that groove, right? Well, what I want to do is all my clamping strength is going to be coming from this surface here and the surface in the underneath. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on these surfaces of the tenons. Okay? So once I have these glued up, okay, I make sure I have enough glue that I'm going to end up with a non-starved glue joint. Because the last thing you want is for this to come apart, and that would be bad. So we want these, once we build these, to never have any failing issues whatsoever. So now you can see I put glue on the tenons. Now I need to go ahead and put glue on this tenon. Like I said, I have my wet towel right next to me, just in case I need to. I'm keeping my one finger that I'm using all the wiping of the glue away from all the other surfaces that I sanded to make sure I don't clog that surface, because the finish or the stain will not go on that area if I touch the grain with that finger that has glue on it. So I want to make sure I don't do that. Need a little bit more glue here, okay? All right, so now I have my tendons covered with glue. I want to wipe my hand off to make sure I don't have any issues there. Now, what we talked about is we don't want the panel to rattle. So what you want to do is you want to take your glue bottle and right approximately in the center of it, I want to drop one drop of glue on one end, and then one drop of glue on the other one. Now what this will do is it'll keep the panel centered, but because remember this is a flat panel, so it is a plywood, it's going to prevent it from rattling. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to place one rail and one stile together. I'm going to flip this up. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab my panel now, and this is the good grain side. I'm going to slide this down and into here. I grab my other stile, push this here. Place this together. Now I want to make sure they're flush, the top and bottom. Now I have a little bit of squeeze out, and that's okay. Like I said, you don't want to have a glue starved joint. We don't want these coming apart. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my panel, place it inside all my clamps here. Real quick, I'm going to just wipe off my bench top. Then I go ahead and I tighten up these two pieces, these two clamps. Then I go ahead and clamp up these two. And then I'm going to get a little bit of squeeze out, and that's okay. So I go ahead and I wipe off my excess glue that's squeezed out, using different parts of the shop towel so that we are not pushing glue into the surfaces. Okay? Now I'm going to let this set up for about 5 minutes. Okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up, flip it over, and then I'll wipe off the excess glue there. In 5 minutes it's not going to dry. But the next thing I want to do is I want to measure corner to corner to make sure this is square. $20 3/4. Go this way. $20 3/4. So now I know my door, if I measure corner to corner, I get a dimension, and corner to corner the same dimension, I know I have a square door. So I'm going to let this sit in here for like 5 minutes. Then what I'll do is I'll loosen up the clamps, flip it over, wipe off the excess glue, put it back into clamping pressure. Now I'm going to leave this in clamps for 24 hours because that's the full cure time. Now remember, inside the shop here it's about 75 degrees. Yes, dry time or open time. Open time's 5 to 10 minutes, which means you can workable time. Dry time is about 45 minutes in this environment, but full cure time is 24 hours. And since we don't need these clamps for anything else, and we're not producing 100 doors today, we're just going to leave these in the clamps until tomorrow, so that way we know we have a superior product. So until next time, I'm Mr. C, and this is how you glue a flat panel door. Okay? All right, bye.